Tá ajustando aqui. Oi, gente, tudo bem? Como é que vocês estão? Bom, hoje eu tô aqui com minha amiga Joey. Ela aceitou fazer essa entrevista comigo. Ela é inglesa e a gente vai contar um pouquinho sobre como tá sendo, né, essa experiência. Ela vai contar um pouquinho sobre ela, como é ser viajante no Brasil e tudo mais. E o objetivo é fazer com que vocês entendam um pouco do ponto de vista de uma pessoa estrangeira no Brasil, quais são os pensamentos dela, como é que ela começou tudo isso e tudo mais, tá bom? So Joey, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. So first of all, I would like you to start introducing a little bit about yourself and how did it start, your desire to travel, how was it for you?
Okay, so I'm 27 now. My first travel trip, I was 18, and it was the time between, I'd just finished my A-levels and I was going to start uni in the September, and I remember thinking all I want to do is just go out of this country, away, like somewhere I've never been before, with a backpack. I didn't want to carry a lot of things with me. I knew that I didn't want to stay in like hotels or stay in one place for my whole holiday. That never appealed to me at all. I hadn't travelled like in my childhood to places that were abroad. I don't really know where the desire came from. Anyway, this was what initiated my first trip. I got an interrail ticket around Europe, so you buy an amount of countries basically on a train ticket. Mm-hmm. I think I bought 10 countries.
Wow!
Yeah, and I think it was about, I don't remember how long that trip was. I think it was about 6 weeks.
Okay. So in one time you bought a ticket for 10 countries?
Yeah.
In 6 weeks?
Yeah, and you get the train. I started in Amsterdam. I went to France, Germany.
All in Europe?
Prague, all Europe. Hungary and Croatia.
Wow. That's good.
Finished the trip in Croatia, and then obviously I had to go back home. I went to university.
How was your feeling coming back home?
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I
always like this.
I wanted to find a way to just travel all the time, but you get brought up to sort of understand that an education is important in England. That's a big thing. And in my second year of university, I had to start looking for jobs that were 1 year working in the industry, and all I could think in my head was, how can I make this so that I can go to a different country? Because they didn't offer that. They only offered places in London, blah blah blah. Yeah. And I didn't want to do anything like that.
Like putting in a balance your career with your desire to travel.
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought, what can I do? So I started writing to businesses that were in Australia and New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And I think I wrote to 200 businesses asking for a 1 year internship. 200.
Oh my god.
I wrote to a lot. Every food, any industry, any farm that was related to food, because my degree was in food.
In university?
It was food development.
Food development.
And finally, in the country Australia, a cheese company wrote back to me and said that they would employ me for 12 months.
Wow.
So as soon as I got that letter, I left England and I went travelling before I had to go abroad. So I started in Thailand, went through Vietnam, and then spent 2.5 months in Indonesia.
Like a goodbye trip.
Exactly. Like, I just thought I'm going to make my way over to Australia slowly. So I did about 3.5 months of travelling before starting this job. Mm-hmm. And then obviously did that year of experience abroad, which was amazing. And my life goes on like that for nearly 10 years now. Like, I've never stopped travelling for I've never stayed in more than one place for 12 months ever in 10 years. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you were around 10 years travelling?
Yeah, I mean, it's not been, when you say it like that, it sounds like I would have seen the whole world. It's not so much been like that. A lot of it's been working abroad.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I've been abroad, I've not necessarily been travelling,
okay,
but I've always done bits of travelling in between those jobs working.
Finding spaces and filling your needs.
Yeah, exactly.
To go to the places you want.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay, so how did you find Brazil?
So Brazil was completely random. I booked it 3 weeks before setting off. I've wanted to go to South America for about 5 years now, but I've always thought that I didn't quite have the money and it wasn't the right time or something. And then I got
Money
COVID.
is always a problem,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Not always.
Exactly. And then I got COVID and I was sat in isolation, in going stir crazy, not being able to go anywhere for a week because I had COVID. And I've got a really good friend from work who's Brazilian, and she and another friend and her partner were going to Brazil on a holiday. And I was chatting to her, I was at work, and I said to her, I think I'm going to go to South America really soon, like next month. And I knew that they were going to Brazil. I knew they were going to Brazil. And she said, well, why don't you come with us? And I was like, oh my gosh, my boss is never going to give me 2 weeks off.
We're always worried about our bosses, about our parents.
I was like, is he going to say yes? So I'll just ask him. And he said yes straight away. So before anything could change my mind, like within 5 minutes I'd booked a flight. So this trip has been partly with friends the first 5 days, which was amazing because I got to meet Manuela's Brazilian family, so it felt really, I was being exposed to like the culture fully and everything, and that was really beautiful. And then the last 10 days, travelling alone, and then I fly home in 2 days now. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. What do you think are the main difference between England and Brazil?
Oh gosh, everything. I can't really think of a similarity.
Maybe top 3.
The weather, obviously, that sounds like a really boring thing to say, but definitely the climate. The climate here is beautiful. I thought it was going to be more humid, more like Asia, but it's not. It's just, this is like my dream climate. It's really nice. Nature, the animals, like the fact that you can walk past a tree and see like a monkey. I've seen an insect today that looks like a marshmallow. I've got no idea what that was. I found that this culture has been really relaxed for me. Everybody's gone out of their way to help you. No one seemed too busy to give you a hand or advice or their time. Not that English people aren't like that, but I don't think you would go to England and necessarily notice that, especially in like busier places like London. But yeah, I definitely am not ready to go home. Now I feel like I'm going to start a 6-month trip around South America, and I'm not. I'm going to be back home in 2 days. Yeah.
How is your feeling like? It's coming the day for you to come back home and come back to your routine, to your work. How do you feel about it? Are you still processing? Do you feel like happy for what happened to you, or sad about being back?
I'll feel sad to be back for sure. I always am. But I feel very lucky that I've been in a position where I've been able to come on this holiday. You know, that I've had the money, that I've been able to just come away so last minute. England is going into its spring now, so I don't actually feel too bad about it. The weather there when I was away was, some of my friends were saying it's the worst weather they've ever seen in England. Wow. The storms were setting off people's car alarms at night and stuff. Yeah. So I feel like I've picked the best time to come away, because I'll go back, it'll almost be March.
So to end this interview, I'd like you to say to some people that are watching us, what would be your advice for people who want to travel but they're not feeling the courage enough to just go?
Okay. Just don't overthink it, don't hesitate. I think that society can put expectations on us. We've got to live a certain way and be a certain way, and it's just absolutely not true. And I've never met a single soul that hasn't had happiness brought to them through travelling. So just book a plane ticket and go. The worst thing that can go wrong can happen in your everyday life anyway. So yeah.
Just choose your preference, right?
Exactly.
What do you want to face?
I'm a pretty disorganised person. I've forgotten to check into my last 6 flights.
Yes, she is.
I still managed to get on the
room.
If I can do it, anyone can. That's my best advice.
Yeah, for sure. Joey, thank you so much for the interview. It was really nice. I'm gonna finish it in Portuguese now.
Okay.
Gente, é isso. Joey é uma amiga que eu fiz aqui. Ela é muito engraçada, muito divertida. A gente tem dividido aí quase 7 dias. Gente, o celular descarregou do nada. A gente achou que tinha perdido tudo, mas a gente não perdeu. Como eu estava dizendo, Joey é uma pessoa maravilhosa que eu conheci aqui, muito divertida, muito engraçada. Eu espero que a história dela tenha inspirado todo mundo aí, certo? Se inscreve aqui no canal, gente. Qualquer coisa, deixa um comentário aqui embaixo, que eu vou estar sempre tentando te ajudar. E é isso, certo?
Muito obrigada.
Beijo.